you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote-unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to cue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. I am super grateful you've joined me on this magical today. And today I thought I would talk about one of the patterns that I consistently see within my clients. And when I say consistently, many, like high percentage of the people that I see are experiencing this. And that means that many of you are too. And so I know we've touched different aspects of this in the past, but today I thought I would really touch on it. The idea of how much the thoughts and the opinions of others affect us. This is one of the things that will constrain us more than anything else, will put us in a fear state and keep us chained and will not allow us to be free. It is the one thing that will keep us chained down into this material world that is the illusion that we agreed to come in to live in so we could learn. And the thing is, we agreed to come into this illusion, to this box, to this cage, so that we could break out of it, not so that we could stay in it. We agreed to come in so that we could find a way to break out of this cage, so that we could see beyond the cage and realize, oh, this cage is an illusion, and I don't need to wear these chains anymore, that I can be free, that I can just let go of these chains and be free of this box. And every time I talk about this, what I see in my mind is the devil card of the tarot. The devil card shows this very well. You see a devil, this awful looking creature who's sitting atop this box which symbolizes the material world. And then there's a man and a woman who are naked standing in front of it, and they have these chains on them, and the chains are attached to the box. But when you look at the chains very closely, what you'll notice is these chains can be easily removed, very easily removed. They're very loose chains. They are barely on the wrist and the neck of each of the man and woman. They can just be taken off. And all that takes is a single decision which becomes your cornerstone decision, and then each and every single decision that you make after that. So to continue to make that decision, to continue to practice making this decision to not care what the thoughts and opinions of others are, to follow your own truth, to follow your own passion, to follow your own feelings, because that is our true guidance, our feelings. And if we consistently follow our feelings, we will always be on the right path. Following our feelings, following our passion is the breadcrumb leading us along the right path. And that's really all we need to do. If something makes us angry, if something makes us sad, then it's not the right thing for us. If something brings us joy, enlightens us inside, brings that fire within us, then that is the right thing. And sometimes that thing that brings the fire out within us, in the good way, sometimes that thing is something that society says, oh no, you shouldn't do that. Or your parents think, nope, that's not the right thing that you should do. We should do it this way because this is the way that we were taught and this is the way that we're teaching you. And the thing about our parents is they are doing the best that they can. They came from parents who were doing the best that they could in their circumstances and in their environment. And when you look back in history at all of the things that our great-grandparents, our grandparents, our parents have been through, it has not been easy. And many of them have not had a good example. And to put another layer on that cake, many of us in this time, in this arena, many of you who are listening to this podcast now, many of us who have come to break these patterns in our families because they've existed for generations and generations. All of this ancestral trauma that just continues to be taught to the next generation. And now our new generations are coming in and saying, hold on, that doesn't feel right. And I don't want to play this game anymore. I don't like this chain and I'm going to take this chain off. And thank goodness for those who decide to take the chains off. Because imagine living in a world where everyone just said, all right, well, I'm just going to do what I'm supposed to do because I was told. Well, whether that feels right or not right, imagine if we all just said, okay, I'll just do that. We would live in an entirely different world than we live in now. So thank goodness for breaking these chains and breaking the supposed rules, the things that we're supposed to do, the way that our parents did it or our grandparents did it. We're here to do it a new way. We're here to break the cycle, to not do it that way anymore, to not perpetuate the same cycle over and over and over again. There are so many of us who have parents, who had parents, who had parents who did not know how to show love. And all they knew was how to provide and teach their children how to do it in a way where they could provide, in a way that they knew. And that's all they knew. Love was just a given, they thought. Well, of course I love my children. But the children didn't feel loved. And we are here breaking these patterns. None of our parents, if you feel this way, your parents didn't know any better. They didn't know how to show. It doesn't mean they didn't. I'm going to give one of my parents as an example. God bless my father. He really, really means well. I didn't always think this. I used to be a little mad at him, more than a little. I had the most perfect father in the world to teach me how to stand on my own 2 feet, how to be strong-willed, to be strong in general, and to also teach me of my own self-worth, how valuable I actually am. And he taught me that by doing the opposite. And this is what we typically do. We pick parents who do the opposite of the thing that we want to learn so that we can learn that thing. So I wanted to learn more self-worth and strength and strong will. And so I came into a parent who decided to treat me the opposite, to put me down and tell me I wasn't good enough all the time. And so what did I do? The opposite, because that's my personality. And so as a soul, I knew that was a good choice. And so some of us stubborn souls will make this choice. And my dad, like I said, he means well. There's a conversation that came up just a few years ago at a holiday, and someone was saying how relevant it is, this relationship that I'm talking about, that our parents, these things that they do, how traumatizing it can be in our lives. And my dad got a little upset with this, and he looked at me, my brother, and he said, well, I never did anything that would traumatize you two. And he doesn't look at it this way. He doesn't have an awareness that those tiny little things he did affected me in the way that they did. In his mind, he wasn't abusive. Well, he did chase me up the stairs with the belt a couple times, but I don't know how many times he caught me. It was more threatening. My mom, I think she got me with the spoon a time or two. You know, Italian moms, they pull out the wooden spoon. But I was more afraid of my dad. And, you know, these little things, they don't think that that's traumatizing to a child because that's the way that they were raised. And you know what? A whole lot worse. And so to them, that's the way you did it. And so in my dad's mind, he thought he did everything right. And he did do everything right. He did exactly everything right. And I am so glad that I'm not mad at him at all anymore. I'm so glad that I can look to him now and say, thank you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being the perfect volunteer to teach me this lesson that I needed to learn. Because without you being this perfect you, I wouldn't have the opportunity to learn exactly what I chose in the way that I chose to learn it. And it's so, I can tell you, so incredibly powerful to be able to turn around and love the person who you feel that hurt you in that way. When I see the look on my dad's face when he feels like he caused either one of me or my brother any pain, it makes my heart sink because he loves us so incredibly much. And it was never his intention to hurt us in any way ever. He just loves us and did the best he could. And so having this perspective towards our parents, towards all of our relationships in our life, is incredibly freeing and empowering. When we can see it from this perspective, that everyone is doing the best that they can, that frees us immensely.
Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a minute to tell you about the exclusive Dream Builder live virtual event from January 27th to 29th. If all it took was 3 short days to turn your life around, would you feel and have the courage to do so? If so, then you won't want to miss best-selling author Mary Morrissey and her team of all-stars who will show you how to break all the rules, feel more confident, and set yourself up for enormous abundance. You'll discover how to build a new, supremely confident you in 3 short days. Super powerful beyond what you dreamed possible. Learn how to rewire your subconscious mind with tools of spiritual manifestation, raising your vibration so powerfully that life rearranges itself to help your dreams come true. Plus, you'll discover the #1 secret to achieving the fabulous new life you and everyone deserves, so you can enjoy more happiness, more wealth, more joy in every area of your life. Go to bti.com/positive and register for your free tickets with a reimbursable deposit today.
Now, when we can also take those opinions of that person. So still to this day, my dad's opinions of the things that I do are what they are. And I get to react to them in a non-reactive way now because I realize this is just where he's coming from. And it's hard for him to see things the way that I see things. And that is totally okay. And wouldn't it be a beautiful thing if this was always totally okay? If we could look at any other relation and say, whatever you think, it's okay. Whatever your thoughts and opinions are, that's okay with me. Are you hurting yourself? Are you hurting anyone else? No? Okay, great. Then that's okay with me. Have your experience. It is none of my business or anyone else's business to have a say in your opinions, in your truths. That is stepping over the line. That is encroaching on your boundaries. And there are many people in this world who think that that is A-okay. It is not. And the more of us who decide that we don't care what that other person thinks, we don't care about that other person's opinion, that we're going to go about our merry way, following our passions and doing the things that ignite us inside, regardless of what anybody else thinks. And the more we be that way and we show that way of living and others see that, then they might catch on. Because, of course, as we all know the saying, if you want to see change in the world, then you have to be that change in the world. We have to do this ourselves. And so, of course, we all have our thoughts and opinions. And the more others have their thoughts and opinions and they try to encroach upon us, the more we react to it and allow it to trigger us and bother us, then it will still come into our world over and over and over again. The more we decide that, you know what, your opinion is fine, I don't care what your opinion is, you do you, then the less we will be triggered, the less we will be seeing people and relationships in our lives that want to come in and trigger us with this opposing thought or even encroaching on our boundaries. The less we care, the more we practice in not caring, then the less we will see it in our world. And like I said before, this is one of the things, and probably the biggest thing, that will keep us enslaved. And one of the underlying little nuances to this caring what other people think, is this feeling of worthiness. This sense of, is that person better than me? Or am I less than that person? And that is never true. There is no less than or better than in this universe, ever. There is equality, there is unity, there is oneness. We all come from the same stuff. So that means there is no one ever that is better than you or less than you. There may be someone who has better hair, so you think, or who is more talented at some certain thing, or is a little bit more intelligent in a certain area than you are, because we can't all have all the gifts. And so we've all come in with this perfect array in our own little tapestry of our own little gifts, and we all can't be amazing at everything. And so isn't it wonderful that we each have our own gifts and abilities? And those should be praised, shouldn't they? Not made comparisons to, because we each need to do it our own way. We each have to be a piece of the puzzle. I'm thinking back to a session I had. It was a Native American life, and it was a part where all of the young boys were moving into manhood, and they were doing the ceremony that they do when the boys are reaching this age. And at a certain point, they send the boys out to the woods for a night or two on their own to survive, to get food on their own, to make a shelter, to do everything that they need to do, all on their own. And the boys come back with whatever they found to eat and to show to the tribe, this is the way I survived. This is what I ate last night. And the young boy who I had under at the time, he was seeing himself bringing back like a smaller animal, like a rabbit of some sort. And another boy had brought back something way bigger, like a deer. And he was comparing himself to that other boy, thinking, oh, well, that other boy got the deer and he must be better because he got something bigger. And his dad quickly said to him, but wait, you're not thinking of this correctly. That rabbit that you caught is a lot smaller, more quick, and a lot harder to catch. So it took a lot more skill to catch that rabbit. And yes, that boy caught that deer because that deer was for that boy. And maybe he didn't have the quick skill and agility that you had. Maybe he was just a good shot from far away. You all have your skills and they need to be praised. And this is how each one of us should live in this society, praising each other's wins, as opposed to putting each other down, telling each other we're wrong, or that our opinions are incorrect, or that our passions are somehow folly. And that can never be correct. That can never be correct because each and every one of us came in to be specifically who we are, the individual that we are, and we're supposed to be just that. We're not here trying to do what the other person did. We're here to do what we do best and not to compare ourselves to anybody else or to allow anyone else to tell us how to do it. We do it the way we want to do it. And the more we can care less about what somebody else thinks about it, the more free we are and the more empowered and worthy we will feel. I think that's going to be it for me today, everyone. I love you all so incredibly much. This is a song from Geometry, Reforming Roots. Until next time, I love you all.
you.